Welcome to another edition of Trust the Process podcast. Yours truly, Rob, the People's Plug Martin, joined by always the Italian Stallion.
What's up?
Also known as the Reverend Nick Martin.
Yeah, what up?
And as always, Mr. Irregular Strength, 800 or bust.
What's happening?
Julius Maddox, live.
What happened to my coffee?
Live in the building. I don't know what you do.
It's over. It's way over.
It's over. I'll get it. Go ahead, Ju.
So,
Get 'em, Ju.
listen, I'm just to a point where I don't care. I'm not saying I don't care about politics, but it just doesn't pique my interest. It doesn't.
Unless they paying.
Unless they paying. They ain't
Next
never,
thing I know,
you know,
Jules gonna be lifting weights promoting a candidate.
Look,
ain't no wrong with it.
I brought the championship back here to Kentucky.
Get the bags.
Back here from Russia.
Get the bag.
They ain't even. I didn't even get a.
You got that one thing?
That's from the state.
What was that
I
called?
didn't get it from the president of the United States.
Was that
Many
hot?
people wrote letters to Donald Trump and the White House about like this.
What you
know,
did?
what I did. You
Yeah.
know. So, but anyway, it's all good.
What
Look,
award you get? You're part of that fraternity?
Oh yeah, I'm a Kentucky Colonel, so salute me when you see me.
Salute. No, but it was a big day. Look.
Oh
so,
yeah. So the people in my city took it more serious.
You got Julius
are
Are you
Maddox.
talking about
today?
that?
I mean, just the whole experience.
What's Julius Maddox? What day
The
is that?
Kentucky Colonel.
October 1st.
Not only that, but of course, the pardon came rolling in before not the pardon, but the
That's big.
expungement where they expunged.
Still waiting on mine.
Shout out to who? Who
they
did that,
expunged-
Bevan?
Who mine?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Not locally.
Bruce Kegel.
Yeah.
Bevan? The senator.
No, he denied you.
Bevan? Is
No,
the,
he
he was the
Listen.
Drew did his locally.
Listen. Mine got done locally.
he didn't have to go to the governor?
No, the prosecutors down here did it. So.
Ooh.
Yeah, but
Shout
you know
out.
the crazy thing about it, I was told no like 4 times before.
Man, you got to go through a bunch of no's.
Oh,
When you
yeah.
break records, they break records.
Man, I know, right? That's what happened.
Man, that was a
know?
McNugget right there.
But
Yeah,
you know, it's crazy because, and this is why. So, but people always. I'm not gonna say all people, but a lot of people who don't believe in Christ hits me with this every single time. How can you give credit to someone that you've never seen that you don't know? And it's like, if you've known me for the past, 10 years of my life. Well, I can't even say, because it's been like we've been living it. We've been living it for almost 10 years now. 2000. Well,
Oh, yeah.
it'd be 9 years. So I got busted the summer of 2012. What was it? 5 months later, December 4th, 2012, I got released from jail, and my life radically changed. It was already in the process of changing. It's like going through a car wash, and you know they pre-wash you when they pre-wash your car
Yeah.
before you go in.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what my experience was as I left jail and I was entering into forensic centers. It's like the little pre-wash, kind of
Chisel.
chiseled away, trying to get my feet wet. I thought you pulled out like a sandwich or something. You pulled out a snack cake and bit it with 2
Them were
hands.
big, like ain't
He
they?
bit it with 2 hands though.
Shout out to Reese's.
So, that process was something that I know for a fact. Like I can't explain it. There's nothing I can say to help you understand. But look at my life and the radical change that's happened, and that you just don't. Man can't create the circumstances that I've been through and how I've gotten to where I've gotten today. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about at one point not having a roof over my head, a criminal, one of the worst people that you could think of when it comes to a mindset of a person. Sold drugs to pregnant women, slept with, married women, just different things that at one point whenever I was a kid and going through youth group, I was thinking like even though I was already started down that road, I thought that I would never do anything like that. I would never be that type of guy. And in that point, whenever I was getting pre-washed, sitting in jail, it was like a slap in the face. It was like I was looking in the mirror and I seen who I really was. And I was in denial. I was in denial about a lot of things leading up to this point. So with that being said, radical change, and in the process, after the internal change happened, everything around me started to change. Just like the Chick-fil-A concept we talked about, when you're doing things so big at a magnitude, your everything around you starts to change, right? So here locally in Owensboro on Frederica and what is that, Sutherland Lane, I think, that corner right there, that intersection, Salem, Sutherland, whichever one it is. But they had to change the whole dynamic of the way that street functioned because Chick-fil-A had such an impact in that area. So that's how life is in general. When you change and you start living and walking a different life, your life affects everything outside of you. So it goes internal first and then external. And that's a way really for us to be able to predict this. I mean, not predict, but be able to see when you see some God at work in somebody's life is everything around them starts to change, such as their family. I mean, you see it. My friends are sitting here today. I'm not saying directly because of what Julius did. Like, the Lord used me day in and day out to be an example, right? Once I went through the process. But that's a perfect blueprint or example of it, of how everything around me started to change. And that's why I give credit to Jesus. That's why I give credit to where I'm at today, is because if the Lord wouldn't have intercepted my life at that point today, because of what's inside of me and my history, man, I would be in prison right now, or I wouldn't be sitting right here talking about the Lord and talking about, being positive and making a change in our community and making a change in the world, So I don't know. I mean, you guys want to add to that or anything?
Yeah, I just think, like, when I hear your story and the people that attack you, people will get offended when you point to Jesus, right? When you give credit to Jesus. But I heard Roger say this Wednesday, and it was pretty good. He was like, when people just talk about you, they don't actually know how bad you was.
Oh, absolutely.
So let's just say, they just think of Julius as this guy that always had potential, as this guy that, just needed a reboot or whatever, but they don't understand how destructive the path he was going down and how good God is and where he's led you to.
Oh, absolutely.
So I just think if people would understand, like, man, I had no hope. I had no path. I had no, I was going to jail or die. Like, I always hear people, when you, like, passed out on the side of the road, like, people just think, like, oh, Jew is just this guy and now he's doing better. Like, no, you was either going to go to prison for a long time,
I was going to die from drug abuse. You know what I mean? Like,
or you was going to be one of those stories of, like, dang, he's 40 and still partying.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
To look at your life now, like, you can only give credit to one person, and that's Jesus. Because Julius couldn't write his own story like this.
Look, I'm gonna tell you. So over the past, 8 months, the story has been, leading up to where we are today. I got into weightlifting through Friends of Sinners, made a huge impact in my life, and used that platform to be able to share the gospel and share positivity, and just, that's what we do. Put Owensboro on the map, right? So I ended up again breaking the all-time world record, bench press, and then from there, I was going to break an 800-pound bench. So just to kind of explain again how the Lord in Psalm 40, I think Psalm 40 that's what it is, Psalm 40 or Psalm 41. But anyway, it says, hold on. You cried out for me, my King and my God. You pulled me out of the pit of the mirror and clay and set my feet up on a rock and put a new song in my mouth. And that's something I would write over and over again in my Bible whenever I was in jail. And it's crazy because, like, he literally pulled me up out of this pit and put me on a platform to display the strengths that he's instilled in me since I was a kid that I never knew about, right? So we had this opportunity and we did this thing on ESPN, right? Something that's never been done before in the sport. The sport's been around for 50 years and it's never been done before, right? So we did this event on ESPN. It ended up going bad. Things went wrong, right? So I just got news yesterday, which we've been knowing this in the works, but about the next event, the next 800-pound lift. They call this the greatest feat of strength in the history of mankind. I'm going to say that one more time. The greatest feat of strength in the history of mankind. A guy that used to be a drug dealer, that used to be a drug abuser, a woman abuser. Though I thought that I was a good person, I was vile and like to be in that position and see that at one point I didn't have no hope, I didn't have anything. My kids were en route to live the same life that I was living, and now the contract is just in. I'll be signing it next week. It'll be at Wrigley's Field at the Chicago Cubs baseball game.
Wow.
So again, we're going to do this 800-pound lift at Wrigley Stadium in Chicago, and it'll be again on live television on a network. And I mean, like, these are things. So with that, all that being said, that's exactly why I give credit to Christ, because look at my life and look where look how I've gotten here.
That's one of the main things I love about your story is, as you went through Friends of Sinners and we see some people through church, is God will start to give them things in their life, right? Absolutely. And they'll quickly start walking with a strut, like they've done this. Like, oh man, I got a good job now. Like I'm doing this. I've been sober for 2 years, and they quickly forget who done it.
Yeah.
But one thing people should always appreciate about you is you've never forgotten that I'm nothing without Jesus. And like, I always think even more than the weightlifting, like not only that, like you went from a drug dealer to a character coach.
Yeah.
Like who could write that story?
I know, right?
A drug abuser to the guy that shows up at school every week and teach the kids in the trouble class.
When many other people dropped out. Like,
yeah.
You know, and it's man, it is, it's just crazy to, like, now I can look back and say, I can, like, all this is just progression leading up to something that's going to happen even greater. Like, I know that the Lord isn't finished with me. Yeah, there's so much more that we're going to do, and this is just going to be able to give us access to do so much more for the kingdom. But let me clarify something. I am not perfect. We are not perfect. There's times where I fall short. I mean that. And that's a part of this walk is no matter where you are, no matter what you've done, you're never going to be perfect. That's why we are in need of a Savior. That's why we need Jesus. We're never going to be perfect. And but still, it doesn't mean that I'm not saying I'll strive to be perfect, because I know I'll never be perfect. But my desire is to see more people come to Christ no matter what.
I always go back to what you said years ago about, you said, Nick, we need to change the way people view Christians in our community. And just like as I think about it now, like think about like Rob has his roofing business in the phone book. So people get to see a different side of Rob.
Absolutely.
You get to go into school, so I get to preach on Sundays, you know, and Pastor Matthew Stable.
We're going to write a book.
And it's just like 5 years ago, you could have no one could have ever said you three would be sitting here today, going in schools, going to different places, people reaching out to y'all for help. And I just think that's the beauty of the gospel is God takes no good sinners and displays his glory through them. So he takes broken vessels and makes them alive, and God gets all the glory because it's only he that could paint. Like Rob couldn't conjure up in his wildest imagination 5 years ago, I'm gonna have a roofing business and I'm gonna be in the phone books all across Owensboro.
Not just that, it's just like, I mean, I agree with that. Like, but we've been running this podcast. Rob's been leading this podcast for over a year. He's been doing the social media and the video work at church. Killing it. So how do you, I'm just saying, so apart from Christ, how do you explain the radical changes where men go from fighting against the stuff that they love to do? Like, we love to do things that are wrong. It's still deep down us. We know, like we love to do the things that the Lord despises. It's still in us, though we keep it buried away and we keep fighting it. I'm just saying we love to do those things. So how is it that you can take men who choose to fight over just saying, look, I'm gonna surrender. I'm gonna get, like most people we talk about, we see they might live it for a couple months, couple years, and then turn back around, revert back to their old ways. But how do you take a man or men that have that choose to fight and just explain that? There's nothing else to me that you can give me an understanding of why we would do what we do.
And I think,
from Christ,
especially in your world, a lot of people are glory thieves, right? So but like you got to think, like Julius, even with you, like God gave you the body to lift 800 pounds.
Absolutely.
Like he gave you, long before you ever conjured it up, God was preparing you for that moment. So like he gave you the right body type, right? Like I could never lift 800 probably. Like I just don't have the body to do it. But like you've always been strong. Like so long before you even knew you had potential, God
Before the foundation of the earth was created.
What it says, yeah.
and
You know
that's
what I
what's
mean?
insane about it is like you had all this untapped potential and God like breathed life into you and it was like, here's the new Julius.
And I think also too, it just shows the testimony of in his power because, man, if this would have happened, if I would have known that I was this strong a long time ago, I from what we've experienced and what we've been through, it would have been
ugly.
It would have been ugly, you know. It wouldn't have went right. It wouldn't have. I probably would have had the same mindset of partying, and I never would have reached the point that I've reached today if I would have known, or if I would have knew my capabilities then. So it took me, and that's, I think, partly what keeps me caged and tamed at this point. That keeps the pride at bay. That keeps me continuing to know where to divert the glory when it comes to me. That look, it's not me, and people can't, for some reason people can't stand like y'all.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the biggest things that bothers me is people can't just accept it. It ain't even the fact that like I don't care if you don't accept it, but you feel so strongly against it that you have to feel like you have the need to state your opinion. And I didn't ask for your opinion.
Yeah.
I'm just stating a fact.
I think it's because, like Rob always says this, a good father knows when to give his kids a good gift, right?
Oh man.
So think about if you would have went to the NFL. That wouldn't have been a good gift. You'd probably be dead or strung out somewhere.
Yeah.
Think about if you would have, got $1 million at 18. That would have been a good gift. It would have been your demise.
Is it true I want to play the Powerball tonight?
So a good God knows when to give good gifts. And I just think like, what is it, 100 million?
It'll be $1 billion today.
Dang, whoever hits that, it's on.
I think it's the largest
on
jackpot
what?
ever.
Look, you look. Just talk.
90% go broke.
That's what I'm saying. They it's their
You can't
own
go
demise.
broke with $1 billion.
You can go broke
They've been broke
spiritually.
with 100 million.
Yeah, you
Bro.
can go broke spiritually, but you ain't gonna go broke with $1 billion.
90% go
You
broke.
can't you can't spend $1 billion.
Keep it.
You can't spend $1 billion.
I already know what's gonna happen, bro.
Rob, if I'm saying say
I already
I
know
played a
what's
ticket,
gonna happen, man.
I'm saying say I played a ticket and I won $750 million is what I brought home. You're gonna say, look, I don't want none of that money as a friend.
Hey, have you ever heard
I'm not
Roger
saying I
No,
don't
I'm
want
just
some
saying,
of it. I'm
no.
saying if I won, it'd be over.
You ever
I already
heard,
know it.
You ever heard
No,
Roger
you know
tell
how
a
much stuff
story
we can
about the
do?
lottery winner?
How much stuff you could do, Jew? I'm telling you, when you have that much. Here's the problem: is that's going to slowly become your idol, right? It's anybody. Look at all these rappers.
So you're saying right now, if your roofing company becomes a multi-million dollar company,
That's why it's a process. That's why you go through in an instant. If I woke up tomorrow and I was an instant multi-millionaire, I already know.
Hey, but hey,
I know what I would do.
My heart ain't ready for it.
Roger
I can't
worked.
heart is.
Roger worked for this guy that won millions in the lottery, and he said it was the worst thing that ever happened to him. He said, "I'm divorced now. He said my family got torn apart
There's
because
some
everybody started leeching."
There's some things that
gotta set the standard.
I'm not saying one day,
No.
but you have to go through the process to
I'm
get
ready.
there.
I receive
Nothing. You reap what you sow. You say you're there.
I'm ready. I can handle money.
That's what I said. Look, I said the same thing. Like my heart
But I
is so
wouldn't
full
pay. I
that I
wouldn't play
want
the
to love
lottery.
people
I
so
wouldn't.
much.
I wouldn't play the lottery either, though.
I'm saying like I'm
not.
not saying that like I wouldn't try to do right. I'm saying, but with that much money, how can God ever stay in His rightful place?
He can. I mean, it's just like anything else.
Here's a quote I love. It says,
how food.
"You know how people
whatever
say
the case may be.
money
You don't
money does weird things to people." That's what someone says, right? You've heard that? No one's ever said money does weird things to me. You don't want to believe that money changes you.
That's
You don't
what I'm
wanna
saying.
believe-
Like I already know. I know it would be a scary day.
I went from being broke, and I'm not saying like I'm a millionaire, but I'm well off right now, and I'm still the same, man. I'm just saying, like, I just think that if something happened and I inherited a lot of money
Cha-ching!
or whatever the
He's
case
got
may
that
be,
bag talk, Nick.
no, I'm just saying, like, I know that, like, I'm just speaking, and I know that where I'm going and where I'm leaving.
What's well off though?
If you win, just get in them.
Well
ties.
off.
Like
And-
you ain't got to do nothing for the next 2 years.
No, I wouldn't have to do a thing.
If you win,
I'm saying, like, I wouldn't have
That's
to.
that bag talk.
So this
If you
summer,
win,
once
just get in them
800
ties.
pounds comes, that'll set me for the rest of my life.
that's that bag talk.
So, but I'm saying though, but here's what I'm saying: it's ultimately that money doesn't define me just as much as powerlifting don't define me.
That's it.
I'm gonna be okay at the end of the day.
Man, there's levels.
Like I've
to
been
it,
in the
though.
trenches. Yeah, there's levels, but I've been in the trenches.
There's levels.
Like Paul said, I know what it is to be brought low. I know what it is to abound.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
And
I don't know what that abound
any
is.
and every circumstance.
Look, I ain't
Like,
been
I'm
there
content.
yet.
Yeah, you have.
Like I'm gonna be content.
He got a house with a pool. He ain't-
Nigga, you
You
talking
got a
about
house with a pool and a
That
hot
don't- that
tub.
don't
What do you
mean
mean?
nothing.
Yeah, what
You
you
abounding.
mean? I don't.
That ain't abounding.
What is?
That is
Bro,
abounding.
abounding. It
Be
says that. It
grateful.
says that.
Hey, for the person living in the alley,
House
you
with a
abounding.
pool
Good,
with a-
it says
house with
that
a
a
pool
good
with a
man.
hot tub.
It says that a good man leaves an inheritance to his kids. If I ain't there yet, I ain't a good man.
Say what now?
The Bible says that a good man leaves an inheritance to his kids. I'm not there yet. I haven't went through the proper
I'm
channel.
not there yet.
Right, so I can't call myself a good man. I'm not abounding yet.
Man, bro.
I'm not saying that I'm not better off than where we was. God has blessed us tremendously.
Bro.
But in the bigger scope of things,
in the bigger scope of things, you are rich.
I'm sure, look, in the bigger scope of things, you're right. But what I'm saying is I know that I'm not ready for something like that to take place in my life.
That's not the question. The question
And
is
the inheritance might be a few hundred.
Yeah, I know. And inheritance might be a few hundred. Why are you confused right now?
Yeah, I ain't. That ain't me.
He said, "I don't receive that."
Yeah, I ain't with that.
I'm just saying, like, to the points where we worked and we put ourselves in these positions, like, and I think that we're setting ourselves up for a great future. I'm not saying, listen, the chance of me winning $1 million is like a chance of an airplane coming and falling and crashing on my house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's very unlikely to happen.
Right. All I'm saying is what comes easy goes easy.
I understand that. But just like anything else, if you are prepared for something like this,
that means that you've worked for it. That means that
no, it doesn't. It doesn't mean. You know how many people? Look, I can name multiple families who fell into an inheritance that wasn't even their family. That they was just given A, B, C, and D, and they took that, and it had to be over $1 million
to the next
And
level.
they took that, and they did great things with it.
Yeah.
So what you're telling me is you're so vile of a person that I'm just saying, say something happened. I'm not even gonna say a vile of a person, that you don't have confidence that the Lord will keep you, that He will keep you in a good place, in a good mind. Like, that's assurance to me.
What do you mean?
That's assurance.
What are you saying? What do you mean? If what happened?
I'm saying if something like that happened, like you're telling me that you would just fall off the map. That you
I'm
would just
not
fall
saying.
off the...
I'm not saying that. But
Money
at the same
does
time,
weird things to
no,
people.
I
check this
understand that,
out.
but
Check
you're
this
not
out.
just
Bro,
people.
you give me a Corvette, I'm going
You're
180.
not just a purpose. You're not just a
I'm
person.
not saying that I can be a Christian. I can still go 180. I know what to. I know
I
what
guess
kind
we
of
got
car.
different kind of boundaries.
I guess so. I know what
I got
car I need to
boundaries,
drive.
man. I'm not going.
Right,
That car out there goes 140. Ask me have I put it to 140 yet.
bro. When I get on a
don't know,
motorcycle, I do.
When you said you saved up a big chunk, you did say it stressed you out.
Yeah, it stressed me out because that's
all I'm doing is being
that's
honest.
all I thought
You
of.
said money started consuming you.
Yeah, because that's all I thought of. I've been in that place
You changed
3
now?
more times after that.
Okay.
And I quit allowing money to be like, don't get me wrong, money does allow you to do certain things.
That's right.
But I mean, at the end of the day, I know that the Lord gives me that money.
I
know that He can take it at any day. So it's like, look, put it this way. Oh, so the backstory. 2018, I said me and Nick were talking. I was like, look, I'm going to save up $20,000 in this year. I saved up $20,000 in 6 months. And I've never had that type of money being sober, right? I didn't know, without selling drugs, I didn't know what to do with it. So I'm just like, I'm at a standstill because what's the next? I reached my goal. What's the next? And all my mind kept telling me was go, go, go.
Yeah.
And I had a job at Friends of Sinners. I had a job at the Nebula Center. I was working out, doing powerlifting. And all I could think about was the next deal. That's all I could think about.
It consumed
It
you.
wasn't like when I was at work, I was like, man, I can go buy this car after this, or I can go buy these.
And that's where you say you're ready now because God has shown you.
Yeah, He's shown me like that once you get there, once you get to that point, like the same thing is there, that void.
Hey, I am
Until you find me and fully find me, you're going to be happy. So it's like, apart from all that, yeah, it's great. I've now that, I've been invested in the stock market, feel great about it, been winning. But I'm just saying, at the end of the day, I know that I've experienced it. The only thing that's going to fill this void in my heart is Christ. That's it.
Amen.
Hey,
No matter
But
how
look,
much money I
but look,
have, no matter how much money I don't have.
But just like that, just like the stock market, like y'all are big into that. Like I know that if I do that because I know how he's made me,
So you know yourself, yeah.
I know myself, right?
I get that.
So it may work for you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying for me, it's not a good thing.
Yeah,
Because I know that if it's
Rob, we can demonize everything.
I'm not demonizing. I'm just saying for me.
I'm just saying,
I'm not saying it's
right.
bad. It's good.
Yeah. But we
It's
can make
good.
it. Yeah.
Yourself, yeah.
I just learned that look, what comes easy goes easy.
Hey,
Absolutely.
Hey, I did hear a thing though.
It don't come easy.
I mean, I'm reading this book called
promise
Manhood
you that.
Restored, and what they said is in the Old Testament that it was a part of your sonship that your dad did leave you an inheritance, that your dad left you. That was the way you knew, like, I'm a son, like my father is leaving me his inheritance.
And let's get this straight, right?
And I just think like Jacob blessed. It said Jacob blessed each one of his sons to be who they were.
Right.
And I just think we don't think about that too often. And I think it does go with like, we can spiritualize it like, hey, God, I'm leaving my kids freedom in Christ. But also it's a knowledge we should leave our kids.
That's what I was going to say. That's inheritance.
Look, check this out.
We should leave our kids so much more than what we've obtained.
Yeah, than just money.
Look, check this out. No, I'm not saying that. The ultimate thing, so hey, people's on here saying that Christ is the inheritance. The ultimate inheritance, right?
Yeah.
But if that's where it ends at, like my kids can have Christ and they have everything. I get that, right?
Yeah.
I can't build a school where in places that there are no school with no money.
Yeah.
I can't give you a drink of water in a place that there's no water without having money to build a well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? So I do agree, that's what Amy said. Leaving the legacy of Christ for your family is an inheritance.
Or
It's the greatest inheritance, right?
A good name is better than the riches.
That's right, a good name, right?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of stuff, but what I'm saying is if I was to die today, Lord forbid, I'm not saying that what I have instilled and what I've sown, God's not going to do something with, right?
Yeah.
But I can also say that because of my absence, my family would probably be in a worse spot.
Absolutely.
That's where I have to take a look at it and say, have you done what you're supposed to do to be a good man?
Yeah. No. I want to make a distinction. Yes, we know that the ultimate inheritance is in heaven.
That's like a Jesus
But
Jew.
but while we're here on earth, right here, right now, we're talking about setting our kids up for a future, something that at one point we didn't have.
That's right.
We didn't have a leg up like when most people would get a leg up in whenever they're in college. Or I remember getting dropped off at college. First of all, someone else signed me up for college because my dad didn't graduate, my mom didn't either graduate college. So, which my dad was like 20 credits shy of graduating.
Yeah.
But anyway, they couldn't repeat the process, right? So I had somebody else set me up. When I got dropped off at college, my mom did the best she could. She just started a new job, and I thank her, and I still owe her to this day. She dropped me off at college with $150 and like $80 worth of groceries.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many kids, Nick can vouch, Nick was up her, that whenever they got dropped off at college, they got credit cards. They had thousands of dollars in the
Parents
bank.
was helping them set up
They
their
had
rooms.
cars.
Yeah.
Their parents were able to, I'm talking, basically in their dorm room looked like an apartment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
We had a jail.
my mom did
Ours
the
was
best
like
she could at that
DC.
point in
She
time.
did do the best she could. I
And-
remember, Nick, you got a mini fridge. Don't you got it for Christmas one year? Don't get it twisted. You didn't get a mini fridge.
But he started in the fall, didn't you?
Yeah.
You didn't get a mini fridge.
I don't think so.
Man, he got a mini fridge for
I
Christmas.
think that was
Christmas.
Star.
I think I got a
Sorry,
voucher.
go to-
I think I got a voucher that I was gonna give. I mean,
But
she
that's what we're
did.
talking about. Like, we want to set our kids up. We want to make it, I'm not saying make it easy for them, but we want to make the transition smooth.
I think what it is we want to change the norm, the standard for our family. So it's that college should be the norm, or this should be the norm. So the problem is when we start out at level 1, then our kids expect to start out at level 1. But we're trying to change the standard for our kids, right? Where college is the norm, where stocks are the norm, where financial freedom is the norm.
Whatever it is.
So
yeah.
we're trying to change the trajectory, and yeah, you can't over spiritualize it because Christ is everything. But what we're trying to do is change the norm when someone says, what does the Martins represent or what do the Maddocks represent, that the norm in 50 years has changed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But what I'm trying to say is like, I'm not saying that they're Jesus juking us, but what I'm saying is, guys, if we don't teach our kids how to live a life on earth, how do, like, for example, okay, put it this way. I can't tell you how many people I've seen just share the gospel, but they didn't take care of the responsibilities that God has given them, such as maintaining a job and doing what they're supposed to do to take care of their family.
McNugget.
What does it say when a man doesn't take care of a family?
McNugget.
He's worse off than an unbeliever.
He don't eat.
And you ain't going to eat. So if we don't teach our kids how to work and how to earn a living, apart from, yes, serving the Lord and earning their riches, heavenly riches, I get that. But there is still a responsibility that has to happen right now.
That's it. So look, I'm trying to do what Christ said, to pray like this, that heaven would, as it is in heaven, what's it say? On earth as it is in heaven. I'm trying to experience heaven on earth. I'm trying to do my part and help heaven to be in Owensboro.
Yeah.
Correct?
Because look, let me tell you this. I remember a guy was sitting here preaching the gospel to me whenever I first got into rehab, and he didn't want to work a job.
Where they do it at?
And I'm thinking in my head, why am I even listening to him?
That's right.
He don't even want to go get a job and take care of his kids were struggling.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man.
So like, yeah, he was sharing the gospel to me, but he wasn't being a good steward to his wife or his kids.
Yeah, so I'm preaching a funeral tomorrow, and I met with the family last night, and it gave me chills to think about what the dad did for their family. You know, and they talked about him and the wife had been married 51 years.
51 years?
51 years.
Wow.
They've been together since 6th grade.
Wow.
And you just think about how rare that is, and the new standard that he set for his family. They said, they all spoke so highly. They was like, my dad could fix anything.
Man.
My dad was there to help anyone.
Sounds like me.
I've experienced it. I've seen it.
My dad and mom went from, they said, a 1-bedroom house with rats to where they are today.
Yeah.
And his work could depend on him and call him in. And he was actually the only one that could fix stuff. And to the point where when he retired, they had to still call him in as an expert.
Wow.
And
that's a McNugget right there.
When I left, I told Jonna, I was like, man, does that not inspire you to, when you die, people speak about you in that way?
When you're retired, they still got to call you in.
They was honored to come speak about their dad to help me prepare for this funeral. They was honored to say this was the kind of man my dad was, and this is what he showed us. That's and I just think far too often, that's why I'm reading that Manhood Restored, we don't leave our kids those memories. We don't leave our kids that work ethic. We don't leave our kids financial freedom and a leg up in society. We don't leave our kids wisdom and knowledge. We just kind of, like we said, if we think we're doing good, if we was at 1 and we leave them at 2.
That's the problem. That's what it is right there. But, this is how I've felt for a long time, that my ceiling should be my kid's floor.
Yeah.
Right? So where I stop, that's where they should start.
Mm-hmm.
And I should do everything in my power to where I make sure they start with the head start almost.
Yeah,
right?
And that's all we're saying. We're not talking about inheritance like millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Why not?
I'm saying that's not for that point in time.
Yeah.
We just had a conversation about this. A conversation about this last week. I'm saying for later on down the road. You know what I mean? Like for example, we never thought we would ever have an inheritance, me and my brother. But my mom has an inheritance for us later on down the road. You know what I mean? Because she wants to make sure that at that point in time, we're able to handle whatever it is that we're going to get.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's a great example that the Lord shows us about blessing your kids and giving them an inheritance. I'm not saying, and don't take it out of context and be like, oh, well, it's not like you're going to take them to heaven. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's great for a kid to have a head start or later on in life when you fall on hard times to have something as a safety net to pick you back up if you're not in a good position. So that's all we're saying that we want to do for our families, because we know what it feels like. So it's a difference for example, it's a difference when I'm not saying you haven't been through hard times, but when you're the only person that has to figure out how to bring your family up, how to lead your family, or I know what that felt like of like carrying the burdens of like, if it fails on me. Yeah. It's my fault.
Yeah. The weight's on your shoulders.
Yeah. So I never want to have to. I want my kids to understand work ethic, and what it's like to provide for themselves. But I want them to feel comfort and know that, like, my dad earned this, and this is how my dad did it. I'm gonna have respect for that. Which I'm not saying I'm giving them anything right off the dribble, but I do want to be able to help them transition to college, whatever the case may be. Just make that transit. I want to be able to go out and buy my kid a new car whenever it's time for them to get a new car.
But I think that's what's
you know what I mean? Like,
awesome is you're in the shift of, if Mila ever struggles with, can I achieve this? Man, my dad lifted weights at Wrigley Field.
Exactly.
My dad broke the all-time world
That's the
record.
legacy.
And I think that's the way your kid should view. Like when Jonna and Bella was talking the other night about me, and Bella was like, man, Dad never tells someone he's going to do something and he doesn't do it.
That's right.
And so, like, that's what she's seeing, and it gave me chills when they was talking about it. And Bella was talking about, Dad, when I get baptized, I want you to baptize me.
Man.
And I just think about, like, that's the standard that should be for our kids. It's like when Mila ever faces a certain circumstance of, can I do this or not, she can look back at Dad's example and say, my dad overcame this. My dad overcame barriers. My dad was at Wrigley Field and lifted it up. And I think far too often parents think about stuff so selfishly of, you know, if we just, you know, feed them today and we just do what we're supposed to do, they'll turn out okay.
Yeah, we're doing the
and
job.
I don't think that is the standard. Like what Rob said is my ceiling should be your floor. I want Bella to, you know, Rob sent something to Bella the other day and it gave me chills when Kamala Harris became vice president. Kamala Harris became vice president. And he sent Bella, believe anything is possible. And I just thought about in the sense of like, that's the like, Bella, you can be whatever you want to be.
Right.
I'm not going to hinder you. If you want to go to college, I'm going to be at college with a fridge. I'm going to be at college helping you sign up.
Look,
you know, I signed up for college on my own. Like, I walked in there.
That's what.
The only reason why I signed up for college was because Juice signed up.
Yeah.
I went. I was like, how do I sign up?
So that's what I'm saying. So despite your political views, despite how you feel, despite what you think, yesterday, when was the 21st? Yesterday, two days ago,
yeah.
We got to witness something remarkable.
Absolutely.
My grandma, our ancestors who were slaves, people fought and died for what took place 2 days ago. Mm-hmm. Right? So this gives, because if you ain't never seen it, how can you believe it if you ain't never seen it? How can a man believe that he can break this record if, like, something has to be there before you? So what I'm saying is for her to be the first African American, the first woman, the first Asian American to hold that office, man, that's incredible.
Yeah, so we passed the baton, right? So think about like the shirt you have on of Martin Luther King.
Right.
50 years ago, it wasn't possible, but he said, I have a dream.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what it is. And because of what he stood for and the action that he took, we now get to live in the world that somebody once believed in.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's huge for a young lady to dream and dream big now. Like that barrier has been broken. Just like when they broke the sound barrier, right?
Oh yeah.
Like that barrier, the what was it, the mile or whatever? How many the runner?
The 40.
The sound barrier.
No, when they broke the mile, the 40 in 40 minute, the 40-minute mile.
4 minute.
The 4 minute mile.
The 4 minute mile. Yeah.
No one broke that until no one else in history did that.
Now, how many people have
and
done
the moment someone did it, the next year, like 300 something people did it.
That's my point right there. So, man, I just thought that it was neat. It gave me chills, man, to see it take place. Man, because I got 3 daughters who can now say, man, it's possible.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, besides that, man, it's been an exciting week. We celebrated Martin Luther King Day Monday. Man, remember his legacy, his life that he lived. Hey, look, I heard something crazy the other day. It said that after Martin Luther King, what are you doing? What's wrong with it?
What do you mean? What's wrong with it? It keeps falling off.
Well, fix it, mechanic.
What do you think I'm trying to do? Go ahead.
After Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, they said that his wife then picked up the baton and set up all the stuff that we now know today to remember his legacy with, Nick.
Oh, that's powerful.
You know what I'm saying? So 6 months after he got assassinated, she started to set up all these things.
Wow, that's powerful.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the hope that I have. The hope that I have, like this word legacy has been just flowing this year. I've been seeing it everywhere. I've been in my D Bible. I've been reading about it. man, been reading about like what a man is and what a man should do. Man, and I want to impact 3-4 generations down the line.
That's it.
That way, because of the life that they live, they can look back and say, man, because what they chose to do, we get to live in that blessing.
That's good.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So
no, think about that. Like I always think about that with Buena Vista. The decision they made 100 years ago to start a church is what we're living in today.
Right.
At Matthew's table. So think about how important that was when they lost all their money in the so Buena Vista at one time lost all their money in the stock market. And instead, in the Great Depression, you know, they went from saving up for a building to having no money. And in that moment, they started to buy bricks.
Man.
And just think about, we are now as a church living in other people's faithfulness.
I mean, we're living in faithfulness right now because of Roger's obedience to.
That's right.
Roger's obedience
to start FOS.
To start FOS.
So people there today don't even realize the people that went before them, right?
Yeah, man.
There is somebody or something on the other side of your one act of obedience.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's somebody waiting for you to walk into what you're supposed to walk into.
That's good.
And so many times we take the back burner and say, somebody else to do that. Because we get so comfortable.
It reverts back to what we talked about earlier, man. Like when you change, the Lord impacts your heart, everything around you should change. You should start seeing changes.
Your environment should begin to shift around you.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you said it earlier, but what I'm saying is I'm just echoing that, like, look, your environment should begin to change. You should be so infectious, man, you should spread like the COVID. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should people around you should begin to change and shift. That's how much power that you have.
That's why I like what Les Brown says is so much potential dies in the graveyard.
Man.
And that's like when you just think about that,
Les
like
Brown, you got a McNugget.
When you think about all the potential that dies there, that's not passed on. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just dead in the graveyard. And you just think, like, at the end of my life, I want to be able to say I ringed it all out.
Man, I'm
at
on
the
empty.
end of Jude's life, I hope he says, man, I gave it my all. I ringed it all out for Christ.
That's right.
For my kids, for, you know, and you know, it's people will over spiritualize. Oh, Jude, you just live it out for Christ. But yeah, no, ring it all out. Whatever Christ's potential has given you, you steward that well and you ring it all out. So at the end, you say, I'm done.
Yeah.
I've gave it my all.
Man, done.
You ran the race well.
That's exactly right. So, man, talking about just that. So I don't know if y'all caught the playoff games, but
I did. Jude didn't.
Tom Brady.
Oh yeah.
Hey, he's a machine.
Is he back?
He's a machine. Hey, Tampa Bay ain't been to the playoffs in how long, Nick? Since Warren Sapp and them?
14 years.
Man, that man's a machine. That man is a monster.
No, but just think about that. I was listening to
I could probably get into that.
I was listening to
He's a monster.
I was listening to the coach about it, and they said,
wasn't Manning in the playoffs too?
Yeah, he went. Did
he not play for one of the 4 teams? Was it? Is he
Manning?
I thought Eli Manning.
What Manning you talking about?
Nah, he's retired. They been
I didn't. I could have swore somebody told me Eli Manning was still playing football.
No.
Goes to show you how far out of the
one of the nephews is though. One of the sons are.
Maybe that's what it. Maybe that's what it was.
When you think about, think about when you think about that shift, is Tom Brady was at the Patriots. They haven't missed the playoffs since he's been there. He leaves the Patriots. They missed the playoffs. He goes to a team that hasn't been to the playoffs in 14 years.
Man.
His first year there, they're in the NFC Championship.
Hey, that's
game.
A McNugget. Tom Brady.
So you just think about, and I was listening to the coach the other day, and they said what he's done is he's changed the environment. He's changed the culture and what he.
You know what's so crazy? It's hard for one person. That's what I was about to say. One person to come in and change the whole.
What he expects out of the line, what he expects out of the running back, what he expects out of the tight end, the receivers. So that just one person. Think about if they end up in the Super Bowl, his first year there. Because of the shift, he's changed the whole organization.
That's how great he is, man. That's what greatness looks like. Well, but I got to give a shout-out to Gronkowski, too, because Gronkowski came with him. He's loyal.
But then when you talk about greatest of all time, there ain't no debate with Tom Brady.
He's nice, man. I'm telling you. He's a monster. To see him play at that level.
And what it is, you don't even see it. Like
he's probably still top 3.
He ain't trying to throw it 100 yards. He's just trying to get a 4-yard gain.
That's it. I mean, he's
Keep
just
the ball moving.
Clockwork, man.
Don't throw it. Don't turn it over. Don't make a big mistake.
He's the epitome of a very well-oiled machine. Just fundamentals all the way down the field.
That's it.
Look, how is it that some people one team can have 2 minutes on the clock and it feels like it goes by like that. You give Tom Brady the ball with 2 minutes on the clock, and it feels like an hour.
And think about that. The experts, he was chosen in the 6th round.
Oh, man.
They said he wouldn't even be a backup quarterback. They said he'll probably be out of the league in 2 years.
I know it.
And think about because of why all the things that you can't predict, because they said he wasn't fast enough, he didn't have enough arm strength. They said all the tangibles, but they couldn't equate his work ethic, right? They couldn't equate.
Oh, yeah, you can't put that down on paper.
His passion.
You can't put down never
all the
never
things you
quitting.
can't put on paper.
That's right.
Is why they said he wouldn't be the top-notch quarterback.
Yeah.
Think about all the ones like Andrew Luck
He's a regular.
that been here and gone.
Andrew Luck was supposed to be the greatest of the 20th century.
Tom Brady's a regular, and you need him.
He's a regular.
Roster.
He needs to be on a regular athletes.
I
No,
need to send him
he don't even
shirt,
lift.
a
You know
care
what?
package.
What's crazy? In the world that lifts weights, he don't even lift weights.
He don't lift weights or nothing.
Really?
He just does the.
He's precision.
He's natural.
He probably does.
He does
like,
the bands.
Oh, really? He does resistance training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Hey,
call it TB12 method.
so
That's all you need.
So Nick, since you watch, what's your predictions?
I predict he will not go to the Super Bowl. I predict Green Bay is going to beat the Bucks.
Man, Green Bay playing Tampa Bay.
And
he might go up there and show out, Nick.
he might.
When is it? This Sunday?
They're playing at Lambeau.
And the other two teams
Sunday.
are who's the other two teams in it? Bucks and Green Bay and
Help us out there.
I ain't gonna be able to tell you.
Not the Rams.
Chiefs.
The Chiefs.
and
Mahomes out.
The Chiefs. No, I think he's coming back. The Chiefs and one more. The Bills.
Oh yeah.
It'll be the Chiefs.
Hey, look, they're my worst enemy. I hope they get
The Bills
I hope they
ever
get beat.
won
Look, think about this,
a
Jim.
national title?
This is why number 2 is never a winner.
Yeah.
Here's what. Now, look, think about this. When they had Lawrence Taylor, they went to 4 NFC Championship games in a row and lost them all.
Man, it will be a powerful story.
The Bills cheated us out of our playoff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we got cheated, man.
You still a Colts fan?
Still a Colts fan.
Dang.
Die-hard Colts fan.
It'd be
When's
Patrick
the last time you been to a
Mahomes.
Colts game?
We
though?
look good.
And
I ain't
Aaron
got the money to
Rodgers.
go to games, man.
Man,
You know what I'm saying? Look,
It'd be
man.
Patrick Mahomes.
They're only 3. Look, Indy is 3 hours and 6 minutes.
I'm trying to abroad. What'd you call it? Aboard?
Abound.
I'm trying to abound. You know what I'm saying? I ain't abounding yet.
I don't think abound means like.
I'm getting there, though.
Like
Tom
money.
Brady wins it with
I
the
think abounding
Bucks.
means like being in good spirits.
He needs to take his horse and ride out in the sunset.
You think so?
Ain't no
Nick,
better.
He got at least 5 years left.
He
Didn't
said he wants to play. You know, hey, one thing that gets me is I'm like, dang, I'm
He's
30.
like 41, ain't he?
I'm
40.
40. I'm
He's almost
44. I'm
50.
in bad
Is he?
shape. He's 43.
43?
Yeah.
He got 5 more years in him easy.
He said he wants to play till he's 40. Think about some 50-year-olds. So they walk
He
around.
said I'm 50 playing.
Think about that. They walking around like death at 50. This dude's playing national football.
When did Jordan retire? 39, 40?
Probably 30. Yeah, 40 probably.
Oh, no.
LeBron's 36.
He got a few more years left in him. He got a bunch more years, I think.
Yeah. They say he spends $1 million a year on his body.
All right, that's what I'm saying, because he ain't scared to invest. You know what I'm saying? So what's on the roster for the week? What y'all got going on?
I got a funeral tomorrow. I'll be praying for that
resting.
family.
Yeah.
I guess I'm gonna come to that funeral. I gotta find a babysitter.
Yeah, just be praying
You
for them.
resting?
Yeah, I'm resting up.
So I got an exciting news. We're still looking for sponsors too. We're still willing to come out.
Terry Pollard, we need a sponsor.
Yeah. What Terry got the fingers.
Yeah, Serene
The fingers.
Yeah.
Spirit fingers massage.
You know
What
what
was
I'm saying?
that though?
You know what I'm saying?
Why'd he flick it like he had
What's
water?
the
on
name of his
fingers?
thing? Serene.
Serene
Why'd he
Relief.
flick it?
Serene Relief.
Yeah, shout out to
He got the
Serene Relief.
fingers.
Shout out to anybody, man, who's trying to do better, who's trying to do more than what you was shown and what you was given, because at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. Good conversation. I got some exciting news. We're starting something new soon.
What about the Fireball?
I'll share it with you. If y'all play the Powerball, can we tip in? Are you getting the Powerball ticket, Drew?
Man, I'm gonna spend the whole hot 20 piece.
You know why the Powerball's so high?
Because
People like you.
the whole 20 piece.
I always thought that I could start my own Powerball. I was
Yeah,
like, why
I seen
can't
the dude-
I?
I seen
You will
the
be
dude-
arrested.
Huh?
Think
you'd
about
be
what they
arrested.
did. They took the idea from they arrested the mafia for the same thing.
That's what I'm saying.
The mafia was doing tickets and they called it illegal.
Wow, that's what, man.
And then they made it legal.
Big.
we got to get some of this money.
Look, if they ain't getting it, can't nobody get none.
That's it.
So how many tickets you gonna buy?
Probably like 10.
Just let the computer pick
I think
it?
it's $2 a ticket, ain't it?
I don't know.
What
Just
if-
let the computer pick it?
I ain't never.
Would you announce you as the winner if you won?
You better not announce it.
Man, if I win, I'm gonna say, look, Owensboro, we are on. We look, city. They're
gonna
on.
be like Jews acting
look,
no.
We're put on a parade.
Would you still go after that? Jude, would you still go after the 800-pound if you?
Oh, absolutely. I thought about it last night. I was like, absolutely, wouldn't I? Look, I'm serious. We would have
It'd
a
be
parade.
hard to have that same drive though, wouldn't
Look,
it?
you know the first thing.
That's
You
what I'm
know the first
saying.
thing that I would do though. Seriously, of course, I would pay my tithes. Think about how much tithe money that. So I'm saying, if I had to tithe $900 million, what tithe on that? Which is what, $90 million?
Yeah.
It rains
Would
on
the
the
church accept that?
It rains on the just.
Would the church? Would the church accept it?
Look, he said
They're gonna set up a ceremony for you.
So,
You write a check like that. Look, you got to.
What's the name say? You call it the what hall? The
Jude Deacon Hall.
Yeah.
It'd be called the Julius Hall. No, I wouldn't even.
Deacon, they make
it
you.
would, it would be a
deacon?
unanimous $90 million donation.
Then they'd be like, thank God for the lottery.
I would build a homeless shelter and fund it for like the next 15 years, 20 years.
Awesome.
Man,
You know what I mean? I'd build a big
imagine.
homeless shelter
You
and
remember we
fund
used to
it.
sit around and dream about what we was gonna do when we got rich?
And I know, but our ideas were totally different.
Selfish.
But
They
hell,
was.
it's not about us. Like I'm dead serious. Even if it took half of the money, I would build the biggest homeless shelter in Kentucky, and I would fund it for.
That's my dream one day to buy.
Can you do it?
Harry
Can
Potter
you?
gonna run it.
Can you do it without winning the Powerball?
I mean, that's the challenge.
I think you can.
My
That's the
dream one
challenge.
day to buy a hotel,
What hotel?
Colonial. I want to turn it into a family transitional home.
Man,
Wow.
it's on record. The Reverend's gonna buy the
Man,
Colonial
you ain't
Motel.
never told me about this idea.
Man,
my dream
I've
one
been
day.
knowing about. We prayed
Man,
about
y'all keep me out of the loop.
It's on
pray
my vision
about it.
board.
I must be out of the loop.
Did you do your
You know-
vision board, yet, Nick?
No, we're doing it.
First lady, get it
They
in.
was doing it at the marriage thing, so I was gonna wait. They was doing it at the marriage igniter, but they had to push it back.
Oh, it ain't this weekend? Oh, okay.
But no, that's what I want to do in the future is buy the Colonial.
Yeah, I heard that. Look, so the sirens just went off in OBKY, so you know what that
How
means.
much they want for the Colonial?
It's time. Well, we're gonna put in a bid. How much?
Probably a few 100,000.
That's it?
I mean, I don't know. I never seen it for sale.
Man, tell them. Let's get the check.
They're
Let's
making
talk
that
that
bread.
bag. Let's talk that talk. Let's talk that talk.
I already got a vision for I want to put a playground on it. You know, because I always thought about that. There's transitional homes for men and women, but none for family.
That's right. Which is the
We
greatest
gotta believe
thing.
in family.
Which is what makes up a great nation, right? Is you pour into families, man, and watch a community
That's what
change.
Kanye said. Plan A is family.
Who?
Kanye.
Kanye?
He said.
What's up with Kanye?
He said Plan B is abortion. Plan A is family.
What's up with Kanye, Nick?
I don't know. He's on a hiatus. I ain't seen. He ain't been out.
He's in the studio. I just seen him making something with Justin Bieber the other day.
Oh, he's making magic.
They're in the studio
He gonna come
making
out
making
with.
something holy.
They try to put a stain on my dude's name.
They try.
He gonna be singing from the spirit, ain't he?
Look, I'm telling you. Look, every time I hear that Kanye CD,
Oh man, it gives me
it
chills.
sets the tone.
Look, God is. I ain't never heard
it
a
sets the
more.
tone.
The song, God.
Man, look, I'm telling you, it sets the tone.
You're thinking of a different song, Nick. God
Nah,
is.
that's one of my favorite.
Oh yeah. Y'all ain't leaving remarks. We about
Rob,
done.
Rob got those Yeezys.
You got you some Yeezys?
Ah.
Yeezy.
I don't even know what he's talking about, man.
All right,
Y'all see the pastor got a new outfit. Man, I'm just trying to abound.
Look, why you saying I'm trying to abound?
I'm just trying to
It's
abound.
okay to buy yourself a gift here.
Abounding.
I know.
Is that the
Alright,
podcast? Abound.
Yeah, have a
Yeah,
great
some
week.
people, look, the crazy thing is some people be like, oh, they got all these worldly possessions, but they driving 2020s and got $300,000, $400,000 homes, and no, man, I mean, like, you got to call it what it is. You can't sit here and treat one person one way and live the same life. You know what I mean? Try to call it out. It's not how it works.
It's not how it works.
It's not how it works. But
Man.
anyway, guys, at the end of the day, we all have been given opportunity, and I think that the Lord puts us in these positions. And I'm not saying to really like pursue money like it's the fix all. No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is when you have money, it gives you opportunity to do more things for the kingdom. I promise you that. Some people do it without money, but I mean I like the joys of blessing people and seeing the look on their face of how when the Lord changes one person's heart, how He can affect so many other people.
Oh yeah.
And just that thought alone
Chick-fil-A.
keeps me.
I always tell people that. That's how we shift the culture in Owensboro is when Christians start owning stuff.
Man, that's right. That's what I'm saying.
When we start owning our own gyms and we start owning our own basketball courts.
speaking-
Come on. He's preaching.
I always tell people
He's
that.
preaching. Look, I'm reading, Chase the Lion. It said it. Look, our job is to be a thermostat, not a thermometer. Our job is to change the temperature, not tell the temperature.
They got that from Cray, didn't they?
Huh?
Lecrae came up with
All
that
right,
one.
man. Shout out to Lecrae then.
Peace.
We'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.